Okay, so welcome then to the first ever Bridge Bike of the Year. So I think you'll agree, 2017 has been a pretty good year for new bikes.
Good.
Euro 4 to thank for that.
Yeah, thanks very much.
About the only thing we can thank it for.
Yeah.
But it has meant that the manufacturers have had to really put it together and bring out either all new models or significantly update models. So it's been a really exciting year overall.
Yeah.
In order to decide the Bike of the Year, we put an email out to basically the whole company. So we asked every single person that works here to vote for their top bikes. We compiled all the results, and this is how we've come up with our top 5. So, without further ado, over to Jason to introduce number 5.
Right, so at number 5 we have the Honda Fireblade SP. Exactly what you probably would have expected to be somewhere in the list. You know, it definitely deserves a spot for a number of reasons. It's been many years since Fireblade have kind of done much about anything. You know, they've always just plodded along. I'd say this year they've kind of kicked it up a notch. They've upgraded everything pretty much, especially the SP model. I mean, that's going to be specifically what we're talking about, the SP. It's caught up with everyone. It's got the electronic Olin suspension, which is massive. The Brembo brakes, which are just crazy sharp. And quick shifter up and down, which is like butter.
Works really well.
Really well. You've got obviously its own colour scheme, like it's always had in the past. You know, it's got its own unique look, which is nice. But overall, the bike's
which is the biggest progression in Fireblade since Fireblade began, right? Yeah, and like you said, it's brought the Fireblade right up in line with all of the competition. You know, you were saying that maybe the Fireblade was stagnating slightly.
It was.
It was saying it wasn't ever a bad bike. It's not saying that it was a great bike, but it needed a big upgrade, and that's what they've done. One thing where we wanted to mention though was power.
Absolutely.
Because one thing Honda didn't do, which a lot of people were kind of worried about at first, was they said from the outset this isn't going to be a 200 and something horsepower superbike. Like the Suzuki, like the BMW, like the R1, like the Ducati, all of these bikes chasing these massive power numbers, which are great. Honda said, no, you know what, we're going to stick to what we're good at, which is building a very balanced, rider-focused, user-friendly machine.
Yeah, I mean there isn't really many 1000cc bikes that a sort of a novice, average rider can jump on and feel comfortable. I mean, you yourself figured that one out for yourself with your experience.
Well, yeah, that was a very novice rider.
new to superbike.
But yeah, no, exactly. No, you're right. It was I've been riding for a decent length of time, but I've never jumped on a litre bike. Certainly not a litre super bike anyway. And yeah, definitely got on it with some apprehension. But the flip side was actually, other than the slightly alien riding position, very rideable, very easy to use, amazing suspension, amazing brakes, like you mentioned. Yeah. But when you wound it on, you know, we're saying, it's not 200 horsepower. Still 189 horsepower and the lightest bike in class. Yeah, it really shifts, and a very well deserved 5th place.
Absolutely.
So we then go on to 4th, but we ended up having a joint 4th and 3rd place, and the two bikes couldn't be really any more different. I don't think.
They couldn't be further apart.
So the two we've got are the Yamaha MT10 SP and the Triumph Bobber. So if we start off with the MT10 SP, what are your thoughts on that one then?
Well, if you look back at the previous MT10, it's an amazing bike. You can't take anything away from that as a base model. But the SP just kicked it up a notch. It's now coming to 2017 with all of the attributes that are included on the Sports R1, brought onto a naked, comfortable, user-friendly bike. And you know, it's got loads of good features about it. It sets itself apart from the MT10 in different ways, especially aesthetically. It's got its own unique colour. You know, it looks like the R1M. Let's be honest, it's an R1M.
It just looks a little bit more prestigious, doesn't it?
Prestigious, yeah.
And then you've got the electronic Olins. Quick shifter, which was standard now on the MT10 anyway, but quick shifter introduced. Colour TFT screen. Yeah. And I think the thing for me that really stood out about the MT10 SP was that was the bike that was pulling people off of the top crop super bikes. Yeah. That's getting some of you older guys that are going, you know what, love the, back's killing, wrists are aching, but I don't want to sacrifice having the cutting edge technology, stupid amounts of power, drop dead gorgeous looks. I mean, okay, drop dead gorgeous may be subjective with the MT10, but certainly like very, very eye-catching and striking design.
Yeah. I mean, power's an interesting one. I mean, does it really lose anything from the R1?
Well, I mean, it's a drop in headline figures, but because you sat upright, I think it feels every bit as powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
But because it's that slightly more familiar riding position, it's not as intimidating to jump on as a superbike would be. And if you, I mean, I don't know why you would, but you could ride it slowly.
Yeah.
The flip side is
why you would.
why would you? Buy an MT10 to commute on, do you? But the flip side is, it's very easy to ride. How they put it into the more aggressive mode, lower the traction control, and it'll wheelie in certainly the first 3 gears just under power. Yeah, it's just a bit of a monster.
Yeah,
it's so much fun, mate.
Yeah.
And then tied with that, like we said, the bobber. I think the bobber has to be the most hyped up bike, if not of 2017, of the last 10 years probably. I've never known a motorcycle have such a big following, so much enthusiasm and excitement leading up to the launch event. And kudos to Triumph, they nailed that launch event.
Marketing wise, they've got it bang on, haven't they?
I mean, putting an embargo on the launch, having sneak peeks of the bike, having Sean doing rolling burnouts in the car park on the launch night. It was just ace, and we had so many people there. Everyone was super excited to see it. The nice thing then was when we did get people out for demos, they weren't disappointed.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just, oh right, okay, yeah, this is just another cruiser. This is just another kind of retro bobber copy. It really, really rode well. The engine is the dominating experience. It's fast, it's torquey, it sounds amazing, even on standard cans, and if you decat it and put naughty pipes on it, it's a proper head turner.
You'll find a lot of comments on the handling as well. A lot of people are surprised at the handles as well. You know, a lot of people would assume that it's going to be absolute trash at handling, but it's not.
No.
It's not, it handles exactly how you want it.
Well, they're used to bikes from a certain American brand that you may or may not have heard of, and Triumph do tend to do things differently, and they really did with the bobber. The only criticism levied at it really was on the brakes. But they've addressed it because we've got the bobber black coming this year, the twin Brembo discs. That's going to be good. And the other thing is, obviously, you can't mention the bobber without mentioning the lack of practicality. Okay, yes, it's a very small tank. Yes, it's single-seater, but that adds
it's no secret though, is it?
Exactly.
It's no secret.
And Triumph are addressing that with the Speedmaster this year.
Yeah, so watch
the Speedmaster coming out, twin seat, same engine effectively, just retuned, loads of luggage options. That's going to be a good bike.
So well deserved.
Yeah, very good. So, second place then, we have got the Suzuki GSXR 1000R, our second litre bike. I mean, it's just, I don't know, to me it was a surprise to have 2 litre bikes in the top 5. But I think it's cool because it shows that actually that category is not dead.
It's not dead for sure, and it also shows how close it was.
Yes.
The fact that those two are in there, this isn't taking anything away from the SP. It was a very tight choice, and in fact we prefer one over the other for the very smallest reasons. And they both are fantastic bikes, but I think the GSXR, it over-delivered. You've got to look at all of the aspects in the litre bike world. Especially the R model, it comes with all the bells and whistles that the SP has. But look at the price difference. Yes, you've got differences in quality and differences in this and that, but they're all small differences. But for bang for buck, that GSXR,
was it just over 16k? And it comes with everything. Auto blipper, launch control. I mean, one of the most powerful engines in class. And talking about that engine. What a Triumph. Just an amazing engine. That variable valve timing is just insane. The way torque low down, steering top end, it's just blinding. It's
something in a 4-cylinder you don't normally expect. For it to carry that power all the way through, it's really eye-opening, to be honest with you. It's revolutionary. I think carrying forward with this model, they're going to have a very successful next few years.
Well, both in terms of sales and on the road and racing, because let's not forget, and I think this is price was one thing, and then probably its race success is one of the other things that helped it beat Fireblade. It's had a very successful year, including this biggest victory was Michael Dunlop taking it to first place in the senior TT, which for a superbike in its first year of manufacture to win the most prestigious race at the most prestigious set of road races in the world
with minimal hiccups.
It's just astonishing. So I mean, Suzuki absolutely nailed it with that this year.
Absolutely.
Very, very well done.
Okay,
quick change of camera angle, and now on to the main event, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Bridge Bike of the Year 2017. Slight spoiler alert. I mean, go for it, Jason. Yes, unsurprisingly, it has been the darling of the motoring press this year. It's the Triumph Street Triple RS. It's won countless awards all year, and for good reason, really.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, I mean, we didn't really obviously expect two Triumphs to be in the top 5, but let's be honest, it deserves it.
Yeah.
You know, as an all-round road bike, you know, it's obviously won the MCN award as well. It's an all-round bike, there's nothing else you need from it. It does everything you need. It's got tons of power, you know. If you compare it to the old Street Triples, would I have considered one in the past? Probably not, but when I jumped on this, opened my eyes, didn't it? It opened my eyes to naked bikes in general. I didn't, you know, I've never been...
Well, you're a proper Power Ranger, really, aren't you?
I'm a Power Ranger, yeah, little wannabe track monkey. So jumping from a super bike onto, you know, these naked bikes is never normally something I enjoy. But this was, you know, way more than exceeded my expectations for sure. You know, the kit that comes with it. You know, the biggest thing I noticed was the brakes. The brakes were insane.
Well, they're superbike spec brakes. They're the sort of brakes you expect. Well, they're the same brakes as you find on the Fireblade SP.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're the same brakes you get on the new like 70 grand Ducati Superleggera thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spec is just insane on it.
Yeah. Everything works really well. The quick shifter, super smooth, really easy, nice and easy to use. The power delivery carries through nicely. Once you hit about 8k, that's when
when it takes off.
Takes off at 8k. Obviously, the triple just sounds insane as well. Even with the standard exhausts on it, sounds great. But overall, its performance was just incredible, really.
I think, to me, the Street Triple has always been the leading middleweight. You know, since 2007 when the first one was launched, it's always been at the top of all the group tests. And even when other manufacturers have brought in newer bikes, the Street Triple's held its own. And I sort of thought this year coming into this, I thought, I wonder what Triumph will do. They'll probably chuck a couple of some traction control at it, tweak a little bit, maybe lose a couple of kilos, and that'll be it. But it was a massive redesign. You know, whole new engine, new frame. The screen, obviously everybody knows about the screen, the full colour TFT display. Like you said, the brakes, we've got Olin suspension at the rear, show big pistons in the front. The spec is just phenomenal. And the thing I thought was quite cool with Triumph with this one was the fact that they weren't afraid to really push where a middleweight could go in terms of spec and price. Nobody else has ever made a middleweight that's approaching 10 grand, which you know it's a significant amount of money. But people have got on it and ridden it and realised it's worth every penny of that, every penny. And if you don't want to spend 10 grand and you don't necessarily need all the really top spec stuff, the R is just as good, really.
This was
for the road anyway, certainly.
Yeah, it was a difficult one because we think the R is as good as a bike. Of course it is. You know, in some cases we've actually thought that the R can be better in different scenarios, can't we?
Well, yes, it's got the torque is lower down in the rev range. It probably makes it a more tractable bike on the road. More road-focused tyres on the R. And you save £1,000, which is great.
Exactly.
But to us, it had to be the RS. So well done to Triumph, and hopefully you're all looking forward to a really good 2018. Got loads more exciting bikes coming out, and can't wait to do this again in 12 months' time.
Yeah, watch this space.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.